Critical Role Recap, Episode 5, Take 2. This video is a little late. I'm sorry for that. I was sick all last week, and yeah, that's my entire excuse. I'm still recovering a little bit, so I might sound a little weird. We found our wandering adventurers traveling the road on their way to Zadash. Along the way, they ran into a caravan of merchant families, it seems, and found out that Zadash was still a ways ahead of them, but they were coming up on Alfield and could probably make it the next day if they pushed on through the night a bit. They continued on their way, set up camp at night, and then took watches and went to sleep. Pretty uneventful day on the road. Nothing really happened. And nothing really happened that night either. Caleb noticed some creatures, some beasts out there, and they went running off after them and found that they were buffalo-like creatures or buffalo, and the buffalo heard them and just kind of ran off, and so nothing really happened of interest that night. However, Fjord that night did get his own little private session with Matt, with the Dungeon Master, much like Bo did on the previous episode. His private session took place entirely in his dream, in which a giant yellow eye appeared before him while he was like stuck in salt water, like in salt water and like drowning. And the eye spoke to him and said, learn, grow, consume, reward, with a little bit of explanation and a little kind of a conversation between Fjord and this eye. We come to understand that the eye seems to be giving Fjord a quest to learn and grow and consume. Consume what? We don't know. Maybe souls or something along those lines. And in exchange, he will be rewarded. I assume that that reward is power. So basically, gain power, I'll give you more power, is kind of what it seemed like to me. Fjord woke up, coughing up salt water, which everyone noticed because everyone else had woken up before him. And so they discussed what exactly happened, and Fjord was pretty forthcoming about it. And we find out that Fjord had just recently, just prior to meeting Jester, so a few months ago, found this sword after he washed up on shore after an ill-fated voyage that went wrong. He didn't specify what exactly went wrong on the voyage. He didn't seem to have a ton of energy to have that kind of conversation at the moment after his harrowing night. But he did say that when he came ashore, washed ashore maybe, he found the sword. And that's when he started to have magical abilities. So it kind of bestowed upon him magical abilities. And we saw that he was capable of summoning and dismissing the sword from thin air at will. However, worth noting is Caleb had used Detect Magic, and he confirmed this with Matt from, like retroactively confirmed. He had used Detect Magic when the sword was nearby, and he had not picked up on it. And Matt said that, yes, that it did not register as a magical item, despite the fact that it obviously has some sort of magical abilities. So maybe it's got powers like from a deity or something. That's my thought, is that Fjord has kind of been contracted by some sort of deity to gain power and serve him at some point, and in exchange will be bestowed with power. And then they set off on the road again. Pretty uneventful day again. They decide to push through the night because they were told that Alfield would be just maybe another hour or two through past dusk. In doing so, they ended up coming upon Alfield as it was under attack. Alfield was caught up in flames and was being attacked by a large force of gnolls, which are bipedal dog-like creatures that are like 8 feet tall or something, pretty tall. And when they showed up, there was a detachment of guards bunkered behind a wall, and the head guard told them that they would get paid 30 gold per gnoll ear if they were willing to help. And so our adventurers jumped into the fray, and we had a really cool fight in a burning town with like multi-story buildings and a bunch of gnolls running around on rooftops, shooting bows and stabbing with spears and whatnot. And there was also a large gnoll leader, seemingly, like a war leader or something, who swung around a giant glaive. The fight went pretty well. They managed to kill a number of gnolls with the help of the guards, and they were doing a good job fighting off the leader. And then the leader seemed satisfied with the spoils that they had got, because they were, during the fight, carting up bodies, as well as food and other belongings, just sacks full of things, apparently, and throwing them onto a cart. And then the leader was satisfied, and so they started to take off with the cart. Upon seeing this, Not decided to chase after them, and instead of sneaking, just kind of dashed after them. The gnoll leader turned around, saw her, and just shot her and knocked her unconscious. And Mollymauk came in just behind her, also got shot and knocked unconscious. Aside from the two of them getting knocked out when the fight was basically over, the fight went pretty smoothly. Jester was able to come up, and the fight was over, because they after the war leader turned around and shot them, he just they went off again. They like took their spoils and went wherever they're going. Jester was able to come up and heal them and bring them back from the brink, and so no harm, no foul. After the fight, they had a brief discussion with the guard leader, and were paid 360 gold for the 12 years that they found. Made an arrangement with the guards where they would stay at a local inn free of charge, and in exchange would continue to assist them with the gnolls, would respond if another attack happened, and would help investigate the source, like why they were suddenly attacking. Because according to the guard, it was very strange for gnolls to risk that much, to group together in that large of a band, and then to come that deep into society to attack a town, as opposed to just kind of attacking and raiding outskirts. It was a cool episode. The combat was really interesting. It was a really cool map that Matt had set up, all the different guys that they were fighting at the same time. It was a cool combat. Most of the episode was taken up with combat. We did have that nice additional backstory of Fjord and where he got his sword and where his powers are coming from, and a little bit of intrigue and hinting to what might come in the future for him. But that was pretty much it for the most part. It was a good episode. I enjoyed it. It wasn't super funny because it was more combat oriented, but of course there were still comedic moments because these guys always add comedy. Let me know in the comments what you think the gnolls are getting all this food for. Personally, I think that they might be trying to feed something, or maybe they're like trying to cast some sort of spell that they need a ton of food for. I don't know. But yeah, let me know what you guys think they're getting all that food for, or why the gnolls are suddenly banding together in such large numbers. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.